Hello, my name is Jack Cross, and I'm going to talk through annotations in Oasys D3PLOT. In version 20, we are introducing an annotations feature into D3PLOT to provide a convenient way to capture your analysis of simulation results. In this example, I'm stepping through annotations created for a demonstration front flat barrier impact simulation. Each annotation has a title, a description, and an optional marker on the model. As I step to a new annotation, its page view is reloaded alongside the annotation text. Annotations functionality builds on settings and properties files, which provide a way to save the configuration of a session, whilst annotations adds extra text information and an easier user interface. So now let's take a look at how we would go about creating the annotations I've just shown. Here's a session in D3PLOT with the model results already open. The first thing I'm going to do is set up the view that I want for my annotation, which in this case is an overview of the model at the first state. Next, I'll open the Annotations panel using the button in the Tools menu here. This opens the Annotations panel in Edit mode, which is what I need for creating and editing annotations. To create my annotation, I'm going to attach a marker onto the model by pressing the Select Markers button and using the familiar Object menu to select the roof panel part. Then I hit Apply, and this adds a marker onto the model, as you can see. Next, I'll paste in a title for the annotation, although of course you could also just type this in. I'll do the same for the annotation description. Note that the description text box supports multiple lines of text. Finally, to complete the annotation, I'll press the Capture button here. This saves the page view and the annotation information I just added. The annotation appears in the list in the bottom part of the panel, and the list selection moves on to a new row, ready for creating my next annotation. Next, let's look at how to modify annotations that you've already created. In the Annotations panel in Edit mode, I can reload an annotation by selecting it from the list and then pressing the Reload View button above the list. I can then edit the annotation. I can change the markers, title, and the description following the same steps as I did when I created it. Changes to these fields are captured to the annotation automatically. If I want to change the page view, I can do that in the window, but I must remember to press the Update View button above the list to save these changes to the annotation. I can reorder the annotations by pressing the Reorder button at the bottom of the panel. I then select an annotation that I want to move, and I can move that annotation up or down the list using the arrow buttons at the top of the panel. When I've finished reordering the annotations, I can return to the main Annotations panel by pressing the Dismiss button. Finally, I can delete annotations. The Delete button deletes a single annotation. Note that this takes effect immediately and cannot be undone. I can also delete all of the annotations in one go by pressing the Delete All button, which will prompt me to confirm before the annotations are removed from the session. Finally, we'll look at saving and retrieving annotations from file. This can be done using the buttons at the top of the Annotations panel. The Save to File button launches a file selector, allowing me to enter a file name for saving the annotations to. The file contains information about the markers, titles, descriptions, settings and properties, and locations of the results. But the results files themselves are not included in the annotations file, keeping the size reasonable. If I then delete all of the annotations, I can press the Retrieve from File button and select the annotations file I just saved. When I open this, there's an additional step that allows me to map annotations created with one set of models onto a different set of models, similar to the model mapping process when opening D3PLOT using a settings file. I can go ahead and accept the original models. I can map the models that are open in the current session using the drop-down, or I can browse to models of my choice using the file selector. When I hit Apply on the mapping panel, the annotations are loaded back into the session. Thank you very much for listening.